Hello, it's Sunday, July 1st, 2018, and as of this recording, I'm still depressed, but I'm not dead. So many years ago, my ex-wife's dad taught me how to change brake pads on my car. It's really a lot simpler than you think. It's a big deal though. You want to make sure that you get it done right, but it's not that difficult to do for disc brakes anyway. I don't know much about other types of brakes, and I would not attempt them. But it was time to do so on my Mazda, and it's a whole lot cheaper doing it yourself. Buy the brake pads for, 40, $50 and get to work and do it and save yourself $200 or so that you would pay at the auto shop or whatnot. So I was doing that the other day. What was that? Wednesday, I think. And the thought crossed my mind that, what if I did it wrong on purpose? What if I sabotaged the brake job so that, maybe the brakes would fail at a time when I really needed them, and that would be it. It would be, a form of suicide without the immediate cause and effect of most suicide attempts. I, of course, didn't do it. It was just a passing thought. And just as quickly, the passing thought of, well, hey, it's not always just me driving in the car, so maybe that's not such a good idea. But yeah, that's what I did on Wednesday. How about you? Yeah, let's get into the show. I've got a psychiatrist appointment on Monday, tomorrow as this is released, 2 days from now as I'm recording. And, I've had this set for, a couple months now, knowing that I would need a medication doctor for sure while, being here in North Carolina. And hopefully, I think I mentioned before, hopefully through this same organization, I will be able to find a therapist. And we'll discuss that at the appointment. But I was looking at my confirmation email and I apologize, there's dogs in the room here with me and they're acting kind of goofy, so apologies if that comes through. Yeah, I was looking at the confirmation email, and this appointment is for an hour, which is much longer than I've ever seen a doctor for. Medical doctor or, mental doctor, psychiatrist. Yeah, I mean, usually psychiatrists, and I think probably most of you can bear me out on this, is if it's just a psychiatrist, 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, it's a pretty short trip, a pretty short visit. So I'm kind of curious what we're going to talk about, and as I'm saying this now, I'm wondering if it's an hour because it's the first visit that I'll have with the doctor. I don't know that they'll all be an hour, but I've heard about it. My friend Kate in Australia, thecolorofmadness.com, her therapist her psychiatrist also does talk therapy, so her appointments are longer. I'm not really sure. We'll find out, but I will let you guys know. A little bit interested, a little bit, I wouldn't say I'm anxious about it, but I'm just curious to see what it's going to be. So here we are. We're in North Carolina, in the lovely town of Apex, and we're getting settled in. The amount of eminent needed chores to be done or tasks to be done is slowly starting to subside, and we're settling into, I don't know that we have routines yet, and I talked about that last episode, but we're settling into life. And what I'm finding is as there are fewer and fewer big tasks to do, that I'm having to fight the feeling of wanting to withdraw from everything. And maybe that's a reaction to having all the work to do, meeting the neighbors, which I've mentioned before. They still love to chat, and that is really daunting for me still. But I feel like I want to hide. I get home, I pull into the garage and close the garage door before I get out of the car usually, just because I don't want to have the opportunity for an interaction with a chatty neighbor. And I know this flies in the face of what I said before about wanting to talk more with the neighbors and be more social, be that kind of good neighbor guy. So I'm taking it as a win that it's on my mind and I think about it. And just the other day I went out back to let the dogs in, and the neighbor was out with her husband, who I hadn't met yet, and boy did he! I had food in the oven. Was making barbecue sausage for the kids and Nora and I, and boy, he liked to talk, and that's fine, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know, kind of insight into my social abilities is I couldn't figure out how to tell them that I had food in the oven that was going to burn. But he just chatted, and the whole time I was thinking, God, I got to get out of this, but how do I get out of this? I don't know how to navigate that. And finally, Nora came home, and she thankfully had pulled the food out of the oven and walked out back and got swept up in the whirlwind of neighbor talk. And, I kept looking to her as, hoping that she would get the idea that, hey, we really got to end this conversation, and that she would be able to navigate that for me. And I get this is a sizable shortcoming on my part, that I don't know how to, or maybe I don't feel comfortable in the ways that I would do it. But really, I just kind of want to say, hey, got to go. Nice talking with you. And that doesn't seem right to me. That doesn't feel right. So suggestion time. Hey, you guys, reach out to me. Let me know how you do that. But yeah, so the feeling to withdraw, like not be around the kids, not be around Nora even so much. And it becomes more obvious in the evening, where I still have the incredible, I don't even want to say urge, it's almost a need to go to bed early in the evening. If it's 8 o'clock, then I'm feeling like, okay, I've put in a good day, and, I want to go to sleep. And that's too early. I know I talk about, still getting up early no matter what time I go to sleep, but 8 o'clock is too early. 8:30 is too early, but I don't feel capable of doing anymore. I don't feel capable of socializing anymore with Nora or the kids or folks on Facebook or text message or whatever. Any kind of activity just seems like such a burden, such a chore. Even if it's just watching TV, I feel like the drive to go to sleep overtakes me, and I'm miserable doing anything else besides getting ready for bed and hopping in bed and, putting on my Dan Carlin podcast to listen to help me go to sleep. Which Hardcore History by Dan Carlin is a great podcast. Check it out if you're a fan of history. No, that's just a plug by me. Nothing, no money was exchanged. So yeah, I mean, I'm ready for bed. 8 o'clock, 8:30. I could go to bed every night at that time, and I'm gonna try tonight. I'll see if I can stay up till 10. How about that? We'll see what happens if I stay up till 10. If I go to bed at 10 and still wake up at 6, that's 8 hours sleep, and that should be enough for me to get by, right? So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Something that, I don't know if I've talked about this before, but something that's become apparent in my way of thinking recently is that I don't want to talk about my ideas or projects that I want to do around the house. I don't want to mention them before I do them to Nora or the kids. Let's say it's, like the kitchen lights, the fluorescent lights were blinking badly. And I thought, well, I'm going to replace them. But I didn't want to say, hey, I'm going to replace those because what if I can't do it? What if something comes up that prevents me from being able to do it? They're up behind this kind of wooden cornice, and have to take it apart and bring it down and change the light bulbs. And what if I just couldn't manage that? Or gosh, what if I was doing it and it fell and it broke? I can't have that. I can't have that kind of defeat, that kind of, I don't know what else I want to say, that kind of problem that would come up. I can't have that defeat in my life. So you couldn't change the lights in the kitchen. So what? Probably a lot of people wouldn't even try, especially if they were, if they were renting like us. Call the landlord, have the landlord do it. But yeah, so anything like that comes up, or if I have an idea of wanting to set something up in the office a certain way, or go to the grocery store to get something, planning meals and things like that, I don't want to share it before I do it because I'm afraid of that defeat. I'm afraid of coming up short with that. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. Sorry, this is kind of a jumbled thing. I'm recording in the bedroom because the office where my main computer isn't really conducive to recording. It's echoey in there. And more so, I'm a little bit concerned about my voice carrying from that room throughout the house to where the kids can hear the things that I'm talking about. And in general, I don't mind so much, but there occasionally are times when I talk about things that maybe, they're not ready to hear. And probably I'll feel a little bit self-conscious. So maybe I'll try the next podcast episode from there and we'll see how that sounds. But yeah, so I'm kind of hunched over on my bed with the microphone on a Tupperware tote or whatever this thing is, trying to talk. And yeah, I'm still not completely settled in as far as flow and even being aware of my, trying to be aware of my feelings and whatnot. Yeah. One more thing I wanted to bring up before I go is that, so the day of loading and unloading and the day before loading when I did some work myself, I was in big time get it done mode, right? It was, okay, there's an obvious clear goal that needs to be attained and I can do it. I can work towards it. And I had it in my head, if I attain these goals, then I will have accomplished something. I will have, a score, I don't know what I want to say. I just will have attained something. I will have accomplished a feat that I should feel proud of because I got this done and I did my best. But once the unloading was done, once the loading was done, I didn't have that feeling. I felt just as empty inside as before. So, life is about trying to get things done and accomplish goals. And, if it's getting my work done on time, if it's doing the unloading and loading, if it's, smaller things, vacuuming the house, doing the dishes, cutting the grass, which I'm going to do for the first time later today. Not the first time ever, first time at this house. That, you accomplish it and you check a little box that say, hey, yeah, I did that. And, I want to feel some level of, I don't know, I don't know what I want to say, self-respect, I don't know. There's a word I want to use, but I can't think of it. Um, I want to feel accomplished. And in my head, it's always, okay, get this done, and you'll feel accomplished. Get this done, and that will have proved something. Get this done, and life will be great because you got this done. And it never, ever comes that way. It never feels that. Maybe I mentioned back in my first marriage, there was time when my wife at the time, who was the major breadwinner, was not working anymore. She was pregnant with our second child, and she was, did I say she was the major breadwinner? So I got a full-time job working for Joann's Stores, which is a craft store. Joann's, Michael's, Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure if folks outside the U.S. know of these places. But I got a job as an assistant manager trainee, and within, I think it was 3 months, maybe 4 months, I had my own store as a store manager. And, I remember I called my dad to let him know, and he got choked up about it. He was really proud of me. Said something like, times got tough and you stood up and were counted, or something like that. And I don't remember feeling anything good about that. I don't remember a sense of accomplishment for that. And intellectually, when I look back and think about it, yeah, that was a heck of a thing. I applied myself and I got it done, but I don't feel it. I don't feel like I did anything. And, my life is littered with these things. As far back as I can remember, in high school at least, with playing basketball and things like that. So yeah, who can any of you relate to that? Let me hear your stories about that, because it's really stark and right in my face. If it's, something small like loading up a shipping container, to something bigger like recognition at work, or having the woman that I love, Nora, tell me daily how much she loves me and how important I am to her. That none of these things give me a feeling of accomplishment. None of these things give me a feeling of self-worth. Yeah, I don't know. That's a downer. That's all I got though. So let me remind you how you can get a hold of me. Jamoalki all over the internet, at Jamoalki on Twitter, facebook.com/Jamoalki, www.jamoalki.info, or what's the other one I'm forgetting? jamoalki@gmail.com. That's JAMOALKI. Or you can text me. I was having some good text message back and forth, and I've got to get caught up. Just before I started recording with Priya and Arielis and that girl down in Texas, I think, who I still don't know your name. Yeah, I got to get back on that. But, text messages are fun. Facebook messages are fun. Emails are fun too. Reach out. Let me know how you're doing. Maybe we can start a conversation. Maybe you just want to say something about the show, good or bad. If you get a chance and you have it within your ability to leave a review on iTunes, that would be great. Helps other people find the show. Yeah, I think that's it. That's enough pandering and whatnot. Oh, I want to, my friend Kate told me it's okay for me to pimp my book. So let me remind you, 29moves.com, you can get my book. It's a fictional novel. So it's, I'm still waiting to get my first review on that. Maybe the world will open up and I'll feel good about something if I get a positive review, or, even a review. So, yeah, guys, everybody, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to download the show and listen to me ramble on and on. I appreciate you guys. I am always awestruck when I look at downloads, and get even more so when I get emails or messages from you letting me know what the show means to you. So thanks, guys. Everybody be safe and be well.